Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and you're on the mic. And on today's program, I'm going to talk about the young protagonist. Of course, this applies, can apply to anime or cartoons, but you know, with a lot of what we've been talking about over the last year, right? As we've looked into like the Vic Mignogna situation, kind of how it's branched out into other areas, like in some ways like how a lot of people are like there's right now some uproar over quote unquote lolicon shotacons, you know um in terms of the anime scene, um and how there seems to be this belief that, oh, the Japanese just like to sexualize, you know young girls or what have you. um I don't believe that's the case, but with all this being talked about, I wanted to also point out something here. When you watch a lot of anime, and even in the mainstream, you look at the Naruto franchise, you look at the Bleach franchise, Full Metal Alchemist, Eureka Seven. In fact, many of the mega animes, including Full Metal Panic, Rastafon, you know, um, Jinky Extend, many times in many of the animes, the um the protagonist is usually somebody, whether it's the action adventure anime or the mecha anime, historical. Well, maybe not as much in some of the historical dramas, but like in the obviously in the slice of life anime as well. Many times the protagonist happens to be anywhere between the ages of 13 and 25. It ranges from anywhere from like what we'd call middle school age to young adult. So as I was saying there, then you know, when you look throughout many animes, where many times, no matter what type of anime, you know, you do find in many of them, protagonists are usually younger. They're you know, whether it's, as I said, a harem anime or an action adventure anime, sports anime. I mean, I know of a few like animes that revolve around high school sports. Dear Boys, a basketball anime, also known as Hoop Days. Princess Nine, about a female high school baseball team. Um, One of the more recent ones, of course, Hakuyuki, I believe, or Hakuyu, or Haikuyu, which I believe is a volleyball one. Um, Kuroko no Basket, high school basketball anime. Um, you know, Bamboo Blade, which is about basically, I think it's middle school. That one in particular, middle school kendo club. You know, you have of course those high school sport animes. You have, as I said, slice of life ones like um, Shogeki no Soma Food Wars, Shingu Secret of the Stellar Wars. You have like kind of magical girl ones like Magicano, Mabarajo, but where in many of the cases here, the protagonists are often younger, you know. Um, you know, and what amazes me too is that it's more, a lot of people focus in on some of the more like sexual aspects of it, or the implied sexual aspects, the implied sexual tension, all that. But there's another angle to it too. Think about it. You know, Oftentimes these protagonists, yeah, they may be by age, they may be like kids or younger or like underage or what have you, but they're handling a lot of very mature responsibility. I mean, it probably takes a lot of maturity in a way to be operating a giant robot to go out there and destroy other robots. Another anime that I'm watching right now, Mud Love Alternative. So now that one's not as much under. I think most of the characters in there are like probably in their in their early 20s, but still they're kind of on the young protagonist, right? But when you're talking about somebody who's like anywhere between the ages of 13 and 25, you look back on Neon Genesis and Evangelion too. All of them were middle school age, right? You know, Shinji, Asuka, and Ray were all around like what 13, 14, 15 around there. And there were and some people might argue was some suggestive scenery in there at certain times. Now, a lot of people would argue, well, these are all fictional characters, and that's true. They are all fictional characters, so it shouldn't really matter, anyways. It's not like actual, real, actual, you know, minors are being exploited here. But yet, you'll have a segment of our population that plays, yeah, an animated child, an animated underage person is just as real as, and you have to almost wonder if maybe the people who think that maybe they need to go see a shrink, you know. Um, but when you watch them and you watch the storylines, how the storylines develop and all that, you marvel at these characters. I'm sure you want to interact with them, you know, or else why would you be watching the anime, right? You watch like you sit there and watch Naruto, for example. In the first season or first series, Naruto and basically his classmates are all around 12, 13, 14 years old. And then when they, after the 2.5, 3 year hiatus, they're back at 15, 16, 17 year olds. And then, of course, with Boruto, Naruto Next Generation, again, a lot of the main cast are, you know, I wouldn't even argue that in their case, well, no, they're probably about the same age. Well, 12, 13, 14 around there. But, they're just at instead of like, whereas Naruto and his classmates more or less became, getting, or graduated the academy at like 12. It's like these guys are all graduating at like 14, but not much of a difference there. But, you know, you look at Eureka 7, look at Renton, and, Renton, he's pretty much considered a kid, right? About 14, 15, you know. Many of the, many of these different animes have younger protagonists. Yu Hakusho, one of my all-time favorite fighting animes. Again, a lot of the main characters are 14, 15, and in some cases, you have to also take into account even species type because, like for example, in Yu Yu Hakusho, right? You have demons and you have spirits. You have Botan and Koenma, right? Now Botan, I'd say Botan. If you look at her, or at least look at what she presents as, right? You know, look at what she presents as being a boatman or peony or whatever you want to call her, um, pilot of the River Styx. You look at her, and she looks like she's probably, I'd say, when you look at Botan from Yu Hakusho, she looks like she's probably 18 to 21, right around there, 18 to 21. Okay, now that's of course for most people considered an adult. Legally it's considered an adult for the most part. You know, Obviously, she's more like 18. She can't drink alcohol or what have you. But even in that, I think because Shizuru, for example, in there, who is, I think they depicted her as being over the age of 21. Drinks alcohol. Um, but Botan, basically refrained from it. It would seem, you know. But she she presents herself as like you know as 18 to 21, but in reality she may be a lot older. You know, I think part of the problem is people when we look at these situations, they think of 18 as this like magical number, like oh my, if you're 18 or older, you're an adult, and if you're younger than 18, you're an innocent child who doesn't know any better. Even though there's a difference between somebody who's 17 and somebody who's 7. Okay, there's an obvious difference between somebody who's like 7. Now, some people say, well, there might be a difference between let's say somebody who's like 17 and let's say 14. Some people would even argue 17 and 15 or 16. Okay, some developmental psychologists out there would probably argue that. But I think overall, the older you are, the more closer to 18-year-old, the more likely you know more about things than people think you do. Okay, you have again what I marvel at in a lot of situations is that in many anime, people that we would call underage, people that under the age of 8, people between the ages of 13 and 18 are doing a lot of things. They're carrying a lot of responsibilities that are more adult, you know. And yet we're getting all flustered, if they get like, you know, I mean, I know Hirohei recently talked about, the Japanese Red Cross using an anime character, Mizuki. I don't know. I think it's Mizuki-chan or Uzaki-chan or whatever. Because she was a bit busty. There was a lot of SJW who are basically more of them were from here in the States and Japan, by the way. And yet, when the Japanese Red Cross decided to bend the knee to those very loud minority, you know, what happened was they didn't get as many donations as they had hoped because they weren't drawing people in. I mean, who does? I mean, especially if you're somebody like me who's maybe a little bit afraid of needles, and you got a cute girl sitting there like telling you, "Yeah, come on, guy, come on, big man, you're tougher than this. Come on, please, please." It's nice, very pretty girl, trying to get you to like donate blood. You might be a bit more inclined to do it, even if she's not real. You know, that's just human nature, right? Somebody will sit there and dissuade, dissuade your fears and your reservations. If the thought of trying to, and a lot of you guys know that I don't care how old you are, but you know full well if a cute girl is sitting there in a very, very childlike manner, begging you to do something, there's that part of you that wants to do it. You know, it's like, how can you resist an adorable little girl, or somebody's acting like an adorable little girl, whether she is an adorable little girl or if she's, an adult acting like, or even an older teen acting like an adorable little girl. Who can really resist that? That's human nature. And yet we get so bent out of shape because, oh my God, this mascot they have, has huge breasts. She's busty. kind of ridiculous. Um, but that's basically, it's basically what it comes down to. It's like you do have a lot, in anime, you know, you have a lot of young protagonists. You have, and the thing is that what one person may, and I know that what I'm about to say may sound a little controversial, but if you take a step back and really think about this for a moment, it does make a certain amount of sense. Now, granted, there are certain things too, like I think everybody would agree that anybody who's under the age of 14 is probably a child. Is probably considered a child. I think that's a general rule. Then when you start getting up to like 15, 16, 17, you still think they're a child, and all of a sudden at 18 they're like magically an adult. That's kind of ridiculous thinking, you know, because the maturation process, just like any other process, is a process. Yeah, your body goes through a process, but so does your mind. So does your so that you go through not just social and emotional. You go through physical development. You go through social emotional development. You go through cognitive development. 18 is no more a significant number than 17 or 19. Just a number. Doesn't mean that there have been cases where there are some people out there who are 15, 16, 17 who are probably more mature than some 40, 50-year olds. And in some circumstances, there are some, you know, 30, 40-year olds who are probably a lot less mature than some like 15, 16-year olds, That's why you got to take a look at these situations, on individual cases. You can't just make blanket statements, on some of this stuff. So on that's all I wanted to talk about there. Just give a perspective view on that. I know some of it might sound controversial. I know some of you may interpret it as something that I don't believe I'm trying to make it sound like. Just something to really give you guys something to think about. Now, with that being said, let's move on to some other topics. Okay, so with that um, now I'm gonna move on to look at you know, some, some this day in each culture. This day in each culture. Day is January 3rd, 2020. So let's look at some stuff that's gone on over history, and I even will have a bit of an announcement on something that's happening today, apparently. So here we go. So first off, I want to wish a happy birthday to Ross Hart. Ross Hart, who is basically the second youngest son of professional wrestler Stu Hart and his wife Helen. Um, he's the second youngest son, so he's basically the brother to like Brett Owen. He's basically Owen's immediate older brother. Diana Hart Smith, Keith Hart, Bruce Hart, all of them. He's part of the Hart family. Ross. So happy birthday to Ross Hart today. He's 60 years old today. Okay, so moving on then. For those of you who don't know, Ross Hart, part of the Hart family, has wrestled for their home promotion, Stampede Wrestling, all that. So that's stuff to take into consideration. Okay, on this date in 2000, the first DVD for the movie Toy Story was released on this day. So the first DVD for the Toy Story movie was released on this date in 2000. Of course, Toy Story is starring the voices of Tim Allen and Tom Hanks. So and you got like John Ratzelberger in there and a few others. But on this date in 2000, the Toy Story DVD went on sale. Um, now, a couple other tidbits in the anime world. On this date in 2009, the anime adaptations for White Album, which was, let me see here, White Album was initially produced as a Japanese adult visual novel. The anime adaptation of White Album, as well as the anime adaptation for the light visual novel Akikon, on this date in 2009 when it started their anime runs. Yeah, Akikon and White Album, both their anime adaptations began their runs on this day in Japan in 2009. And a special announcement here. Today, January 3rd, 2020, Koisuru Asteroid, translated as Love Asteroid. The anime adaptation premieres today. Is scheduled to premiere today. It may have already, because obviously Japan is like I think 17 or 16 or 17 ahead of us, so it may have already debuted by the time you're seeing this video. But today, Koisuru Asteroid, the Love of Asteroid, is premiering on this date. Um, so here's kind of the little tidbit about the plot. When she was little, Mira Kinohara met a boy named Aoi at a campsite in town. While gazing at the starry sky together, Mira learns that there is a star with the same name as herself, but no star for Aoi. Um, the two then promised to one day explore asteroids together and find a star to name it after him. Several years later, Mira enrolls at Hoshizaki High School. Now, Hoshizaki, I know, like I may not know the full translation of that, but I know the word Hoshi means star, so that much I do know. And decides to join the astronomy club to fulfill her promise. However, she learns that the astronomy club will be merged with the Geological Research Society to form the Earth Science Club. Reluctantly, Mira goes to the club room and is reunited with Aoi Manaka, the person she made the promise to explore asteroids with, and is shocked to learn that she is a girl. Sounds like a cute anime. Cute anime manga, might be interesting when they dub it. Hopefully it'll get dubbed. It sounds like a pretty interesting story though. Um, it's called Koisuru Asteroid, or translated Love Asteroid. So might be one to check out somewhere down the line. So with that um, as always, guys, if you want to check the links below, if you want to contact me directly, you can DM me on my Discord. If you want to check out the Discord and join, you're more than welcome to. Um, let me see. What else can I say? So you can join the Discord. Also, as you know, I'm promoting a bunch of different dub companies, which I do hope one of them will. I could theoretically see Sentai probably dubbing it if it does come to that, but that's But I might be interested in hear some of the Houston VAs take that one. But anyways, you guys may notice the dub companies. You want to check them out. Remember Funimation's not the only game in town. I'm also still promoting GoFundMe's. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If you have the means to and it's on your heart to do so, please consider donating. If you've already donated, please consider donating again. And if you're not in a position to donate, you can still help out the cause by sharing the link. Because sharing is caring after all, and you never know. Maybe there's somebody in your circle of friends who may see it and say, yeah, I want to help out too. So, with that, if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bells. Um, Hitting the notification bells for updates. And with that, I um, I hope to see you guys at the premiere of Voices Big and Small, Lori Paczynski tonight. If not, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.